Perfect. And again, welcome to our just-in-time webinar for starting the cookie program off right. Oh, if I can get it to the next slide. Ah, there we go. Okay, so the most important thing when it comes to the cookie program is the safety of girls, volunteers, and also your families. So during this time, we do ask that you keep COVID safety guidelines in mind when participating in the cookie program and encourage your parents and guardians to do the same. So this includes steps to staying safe, such as wearing a mask, using hand sanitizer, not touching your face, staying 6 feet apart, bringing your own pen and encouraging parents to do the same, especially if you need to complete paperwork or receipts. And then to take it online when you can, especially with the girl permission slip, which is available online. And also you can have your troop initial meeting, which we'll talk about in a couple slides. That one can easily be done online as well. And then also if you do need to meet outside or in a well open or ventilated space. And then also consider trunk pickups at a designated location or porch pickups and drop-offs for program material distribution. If you have like a plastic box, you can also do kind of have like a plastic box on your porch so that people can come, grab it out of the box and then take it with them. But regardless, please follow any additional local government or Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas guidelines to ensure that your girls, your parents and guardians, and yourself stay safe and healthy during this time. So first off, here's just kind of a look at the next kind of month and a bit of December. So we're kind of up here, you know, this is next week and we got Halloween on Saturday. So during this time, it's best that TCMs, you complete your TCM and your troop requirements, which we'll talk about on the next slide. And it's also a really good practice to send that online girl permission slip to parents and guardians so that they have ample time to access it and get that completed. So you have about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, almost I would say 3 weeks kind of, to have all of your TCM and troop requirements in by November 17th. So that is our deadline to have all your TCM and troop requirements, which I'll talk about on the next slide, in. However, this date has been adjusted from what was printed in your TCM companion. So that was just adjusted because of these red dates right here that you'll see from November 18th to November 2nd, so about 2 weeks. All of the online Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas platforms will be down. So this will affect the Volunteer Toolkit or VTK, gsLearn, MyGS, so if you use that for your troop roster, and it will also affect our internal Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas membership database. So that means our ability to access membership records, background check records, all of that stuff. So kind of keep that in mind when you're planning your cookie program for your troop especially, because there will be about 2 weeks of system downtime. It does fall during Thanksgiving, so it is a little bit easier on us a little bit. So just keep in mind that you won't be able to access some of those sites during those dates. Then the tentative eBuddy access date for TCMs that have all those requirements completed will be November 7th or November 18th. So 17th we'll do our check, and then 18th you'll probably get an eBuddy email inviting you to come join the site. So like I mentioned before, we have this time for the next 2 weeks. And then Thanksgiving happens, and during that time we will not process TCM trainings or girl permission slips. But then the next big thing will be the first round of council-sponsored booths, which will begin on Wednesday, December 2nd. And then the last thing will be the girl permission slips are due on December 10th for them to participate on Monday, December 14th. So we will accept girl permission slips after this date, always. This is just the date so that we can have all of that in to the system for girls to begin participating on December 14th. And then the last thing that I did forget to mention is we do have a virtual eBuddy demo and program review on Thursday, November 12th. So that will be just in time for you to then get into eBuddy the following week. And at that webinar, we'll kind of do a demo of eBuddy, talk more in depth about the program, go more in depth about booth scheduling and all of that other good stuff that we aren't going to cover here today. So here are the TCM and Troop requirements. So these must be met by all TCMs, including parent or guardians who are acting as the Troop Cookie Manager for their IRG or individually registered girl. So for the TCM requirements, you have to have completed the online TCM training and agreement form that is in gsLearn, have a current 2020 to 2021 adult membership, and have a current background check that expires after April 1st. And then the last requirement is that you have no previous outstanding balance owed to the Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas and that you're in good standing as a volunteer. In addition to your individual requirements, troops must also have an active troop bank account with a current ACH authorization form. And also, troops must have submitted a completed June 2020 finance report. Troops will also be expected to submit their December 2020 finance report by Tuesday, December 15th, which is a really important due date if you want that to not affect your troops' participation in the cookie program. So I'll talk about money managers a little bit later, but this is a really important date for your money managers to keep in mind as they're going into December, because they do have to have that December 2020 finance report in and on time if your troop is participating in the cookie program. And then a really important note is that your troop, your IRG, will not be added to eBuddy or digital cookie until all of these requirements are checked off. The only one that has a little asterisk by it or a little, like kind of something is December 20 finance report. So that one we will check after that submit date, but everything else has to be completely good in order for your troop to be added to the eBuddy system. So for girl requirements, all girls participating in the cookie program are required to have two things: a completed girl permission slip, either online or paper, and a current girl membership for 2020 to 2021. So to check for these requirements, if a parent has successfully submitted the girl permission slip online, they will receive a confirmation email that will include their girl's name and their troop number that they entered. So this email can then be shown via screenshot. They can screenshot it and text it to you. They can forward you the email, whatever works for you and for them. But just so that they show you the confirmation email that they did in fact complete that girl permission slip. And then also the girl membership can be checked by parents and guardians and co-leaders in the MyGS. So this is something that I would, kind of schedule before we have that downtime in December and in November to December. Get your co-leader or get your parents and guardians to hop on MyGS, go and check their girls' memberships. So parent and guardians can check their individual Girl Scouts, and troop leaders will have access to the whole troop roster, so they can see everyone. So definitely get with those two sets of people, have them check their memberships, make sure that they're ready to go. And then also a really important note, kind of like how it is for TCMs, girls should not be given program materials if either of these items are missing. And girls will not be added to eBuddy or digital cookie unless both requirements are met. So when you do get into eBuddy, if you have girls missing from your roster, make sure that these requirements have both been met before you contact your community cookie manager or the product program department. So for your troop informational meeting, we strongly almost require that TCMs host an informational meeting. This is definitely easily done virtually, which I'll talk about towards the end of the slide. But this meeting really should be information about the program, and then also goal setting for girls and also goal setting for your troop. So during this time, it is beneficial to your program's success that you set expectations, provide dates, and ensure to make plans for all parents and Girl Scouts to receive those program materials. In addition, like I said before, it's a great time to help girls set their personal goals and also troop goals to get excited for the program. So during this meeting, it's a good practice to have your parents complete that girl permission slip. The virtual aspect makes it really easy because you can just drop the link to that permission slip in the chat. They can go get it, they can go complete it real quick, and then they can come back to the meeting and continue on. Another good thing to get from parents at this meeting is updated contact info. So definitely get a good phone number, a good email, a good physical address, whatever you need from your parents, because you want to keep track of them during the program, and you don't want them to kind of, fall off the bandwagon. And then once the girl permission slips have been submitted and you've seen that confirmation email, then you can provide the following materials to the girls and parents and guardians. So the order card, the money envelope, the family guide, and the safety flyer are all returning flyers from last year. So if you are returning TCM, those will look familiar. But in addition to the core materials, this year we are also providing a digital marketing tips flyer, which also has great safety tips for keeping safe online, and also door hangers. So girls can go door to door, advertise their cookies, and kind of have a more contactless way of contacting their customers. And then also, it is a really good practice to provide your Troop Cookie Manager contact info. So there is a space on the front of the family guide for you to add this info. So definitely either write it in or provide it to your parents to have them write it in. But however you do it, just make sure that you provide a good contact info so that they know who to call in their troop with any questions, issues, concerns, stuff like that. And then, like I said before, it's an important time to provide those due dates, especially program start and end dates, initial order and product distribution dates, and then also when you will be doing money collection. Provide all of those to parents as well as their expectations. So expectations regarding turning in money, picking up cookie orders, and then also their participation in the cookie program alongside their Girl Scout or any extra assistance you might need for the troop. So like I said before, you can easily have this informational meeting virtually using any of the online platforms that allow for free group video calling. So the Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas, we have a really great virtual meeting playbook in the volunteer section of our website. So it does include suggestions for adapting to online meetings, and it has a really great chart for picking out the best online platform for your troop and like the different needs that you may have. So we will link this playbook in a follow-up email that we'll send probably tomorrow. So definitely when you get that follow-up email or today, if you're curious, go and check out our volunteer page on our webpage and check that virtual meeting playbook out because it has a lot of really great resources for making that transition a little bit easier on you and your parents. And then also another low contact way of getting program materials to parents is to organize a porch pickup so that you can make sure they have those program materials and in a timely manner. So like I mentioned it before, if you want to have a porch bucket where you make up a packet, leave that packet in the bucket, and then have that parent come and pick up for their girls, that is totally a great option. Just as long as you're checking that girl permission slip before you do so, that's all that we ask. Awesome. So a good reminder is that the cookie program takes a village, and it really shouldn't be left up to the troop cookie manager to do everything cookie related. So your troop co-leaders, they are the leaders of your troop, but they also have access to your troop roster in MyGS and have that access to the volunteer toolkit, so they can also assist with those meeting plans and activities. So definitely go to your co-leader to check girls' memberships, help them implement badge activities during meetings, and also to just provide another volunteer resource. Another member of your troop will be your money managers. So these are your troop's bookkeepers or treasurers, and they will also have access to your troop bank account and will be responsible for keeping it up to date and active with the Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas. So definitely talk with your troop money managers at the beginning of the program to make sure everything is good to go with that troop bank account. And then also it's a smart idea to touch base with them again during the ACH sweeps to check the balance of your troop bank account and to just make sure that everything is as it should be, all the accounting and all of that is adding up. And then a really important note, which maybe you want to, get the recording of this later, show it to your money managers, is that if your money managers have been recently changed, if you've had a new addition, if you've removed someone, whatever it is, your Troop bank account may need an updated ACH authorization form. And so your money manager should know what that means and what they need to do to complete that. But definitely touch base with them, make sure that everything is set for their bank account. If they need, they can always email in and we can tell them the status. You can always get your status from your community cookie manager. And also if there is something wrong with your bank account, the product program department will email you, the Troop cookie manager, to let you know. So if you get any emails that say you have an issue with your bank account, definitely give that whole email a read and feel free to send it off to your money manager so that they can kind of be in that discussion with you about what you need to do for your troop. And then finally, don't forget about your parents and guardians. I bet you don't, but they are an invaluable resource for your troop and girls. Definitely encourage parent and guardians to become troop helpers so that they can more fully assist with picking up cookies from reorder sites. They can assist at cookie booths, and they can also more fully participate in the cookie program with their girls. And Janelle she does a lot of really good stuff with her parents, which she'll talk about in just a bit. And then remember, at the end of the day, teamwork makes the dream work. So if everyone is able to work together, it will only make your girls' cookie program even better. So definitely after this today, send a text, send an email, call up your co-leaders and your money managers, and just make sure everyone is on the same page before you begin your cookie program. So next up, we will have Janelle Graham. She is a Troop Cookie Manager and co-leader for Troop 791 and Community N. And she will be sharing how she preps for the cookie program, the different tools and resources she uses to keep herself organized and her troop organized. So welcome, Janelle, and thank you for joining us and sharing your wisdom. Just let me know when you're ready to go to the next slide.
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I am Janelle. I am, as you can see, a little bit of a cookie enthusiast. As a girl and as an adult, cookies are always my favorite part of Girl Scouts. So I am a stay-at-home mom, but I'm also co-leader, money manager, and cookie manager because I love doing it. It's my third year, so this will be my third cookie season as a leader and cookie manager. And I've picked up a couple tips and tricks. I've borrowed ideas from other troops. I love, we're all sisters and we all share these ideas. With it being my third year, my oldest girls are only in second grade. We started with an all kinder troop. So this year we have 18 girls in kinder, first and second grade. Most of them sold cookies last year. But we do have a few newbies. I do strongly encourage my parents when their girls join the troop to volunteer, at least as a troop helper. And I do point out things like if you want to chaperone a field trip or work a cookie booth or even sit in on a meeting, help out at a physical meeting or anything like that, you have to have the membership with that cleared background check on file. I think nearly all of my girls have at least one adult, some have two signed up in our troop. And they will, help with providing craft supplies. We do sign-ups and stuff so they can provide any troop supplies needed and that kind of stuff. And they're really good about helping out with that stuff. But it all comes down to setting that expectation. So definitely when you do meet with your parents, let them know what kind of involvement you're looking for during cookie season. If this is your first year being a cookie manager, don't try and do all the prep in one go. Give yourself, an hour or two each day for about a week. and that'll help you, give your brain a break from cookies. But if you did this last year, you'll probably be able to catch up in an afternoon and get everything updated for COVID and all the new stuff. Go to the next slide. Okay, parent and girl meetings. My troop adapted to this whole virtual meeting thing really well. And I love Google Slides or PowerPoint or whatever works for y'all. It helps me stay on topic, and it's an easy reference. So I made a rather long Google slideshow for my parents, and it kind of serves for them like this meeting does for y'all, that just-in-time reference. At the parent informational meeting, my co-cookie manager and I will go through the slides with the parents and make sure that they understand the content and that there's no questions about what's on the slides. But it also will give them a quick and easy reference it's quick and easy reference if they have questions later. And I do, here it says, formatting is key. You want to make it easily accessible. So, bold, underline, graphics, whatever makes it easy to look at, so that they can find what they're looking for. I'm gonna put in some screenshots of a few of the slides from my presentation. I like to read the clip art on Little Brownie Bakers and all that stuff. But what I tried to do was kind of put a topic name, like you can see turn in money, and then there's more details to the right about how, when, and where that should happen. So if they have questions about, oh, what do I do with all this cash, they can find that slide and they know what to do. Just things like that. Things that you'll definitely want to include in your FAQ, parent Bible, whatever you want to call it, is the girl permission slip. As Emma mentioned, they have to have their membership and the permission slip done before they'll show up in eBuddy, before you can give them paperwork, anything like that. So I like to give them the link and make sure they have the troop number and the community letter, because that goes in the form and most parents don't remember it. I see a question in the chat. Yes, absolutely. Rob from my slides, whatever you need. You want to make sure they know all the deadlines, right? So when is their final payment due? But also, when are the ACH sweeps, right? Because you want to make sure there's enough money in the bank account to cover those sweeps. You'll want to make sure they know council policies for social media guidelines, especially this year with everyone trying to avoid person-to-person contact. So deadlines and policies are big. Another one is financial responsibility, right? They need to know that, and I realize it's on the permission slip, but we all know most people are just going to check the boxes without fully reading, right? They're going to browse through it. So payment methods that your troop accepts, things like, my troop does not accept checks, because should one of them bounce, the troop is financially responsible for that. And if it's not someone you know well, you can't go back and be like, hey, you gotta pay us. So we don't take checks at all. They also need to know how often to turn in money. We expect money turned in every week, but I know, like for us, we'll let our parents make a payment through their digital cookie app. They can use, if they're collecting cash from their customers, but they don't want to drive over to one of the cookie managers' houses to turn it in, they can, charge $250 on their debit card by going through the digital cookie app. However that works for them, if we try to be flexible and make that work. Big is they need to know, once they sign a receipt accepting boxes of cookies, they are financially responsible. They have to pay for them. And a lot of parents don't, especially first-time parents, they don't register this, right? So if they sign a receipt accepting those cookies, they cannot return them. It's up to you whether you're going to allow them to maybe exchange flavors with the troop stash that you have for booth sales. Also, make it clear what you expect of your girls. Um, Even kindergartners can do a lot. They should know that a box of cookies is $4. They should know that cookies will be delivered in February. They should know at least one random fact about one of the flavors of cookies. You know, my favorite is tagalongs because I like chocolate and peanut butter. You know, whatever it's going to be. Um, and it's also helpful if they know generally what the troop plans to do with the money. Um, Badge earning field trips, community service, camping trip, sleep over at the zoo, whatever it's going to be. Give them, first of all, it gets them excited to work toward that goal, but also the customers like to know. And if you're looking for community service ideas, you can also have your girls, especially at booths, ask the customers what would you like to see improved in the community, because they can get ideas for take action projects and stuff that way. So, and then, like I said, the troop goal can help the girls get excited and work toward that big reward at the end, even if it's going to be like a virtual movie night where the troop like orders a pizza for each house or something. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next slide. All right, so booths. We know that's a very big part of our job as cookie managers. As far as the parents, especially the new parents, don't bog them down with all the booth info right now, right? So they're going to start taking orders in December, but booths don't start until the end of January or even the beginning of February. You tell them all the details now and it's not relevant for a month or two, they're just going to forget. So you can mention that there will be booths. You could even maybe give a general idea of the parts of town or the time frames that you'll try to schedule them at. Maybe let them know how you're going to handle signups, but don't go over all the details right now. I would say plan on having another meeting in January to go over booths. Make sure that when you do signups for booths, oh, another thing I do want to mention there too is that you know, that first round of booth signups is right after Thanksgiving. So I know my first year I was super excited and I started telling all the families what booths I signed up for, but you may not keep those, right? You may decide to swap them out for something better, or maybe something comes up and it just doesn't work for the scheduling, or like it conflicts with like a troop field trip or something, and you have to change them out. That is perfectly okay, but that's why you don't want to get your parents too excited about a specific booth time in December when it's not actually happening until February. So just plan on how you want to handle signups and make sure that you release it to the whole troop at one time. Or if for some reason you have a tiered system, prioritize that, but make it well known who gets to sign up when, and just make it as fair as possible. I also let my parents know that they are expected to volunteer at the booths with the girl. It's not fair to have 2 or 3 adults have to work every single booth, right? You're the cookie manager, but that doesn't mean you're going to stay at every single booth for the whole time, especially if you've got like a 6-hour booth. That's a lot. You might show up to set it up and tear it down, but why should you stay for the whole 6 hours, right? So there again, we come back to the adults need their membership. They need to do the online training. They need to sign their etiquette agreement. They need to pass the background check. Now, if you have a girl who's, for whatever reason, like the parents can't pass the background check, or the family can't afford the membership, or whatever it's going to be, like we do work with those girls to have a cookie manager or a co-leader or somebody work with them, even if my daughter is not working, I'm still happy to work a booth, especially for those girls that need that little extra help. But at the parent meeting, just make it a known expectation that they're going to work with them. I know when I handle signups, I have a line that says girl and parent. And then if we're going to have more than 2 girls, I'll add a girl only slot, because council guidelines, of course, are no more than 4 girls and 2 adults. So you can have 2 slots that are girl and adult. And if people only sign up for the girl only slots and they don't sign up for the girl and adult slots, oh darn, we don't have an adult volunteer. I guess we have to drop that time, right? It is not your responsibility to make sure it happens. If you don't have volunteers, you can drop the booth. Oh yes, the helping out new people, right? So I mentioned I have a couple of new people this year. Some of you may have all new people. If you're a brand new troop, that's okay. But if you have girls who have done this before and girls who have never sold cookies, especially early in the booth season, try to pair them up. They learn by watching and by doing, and we do want it to be girl-led, right? So let the older girl teach the new girl. I'm assuming older and younger. They may be the same age, or the new girl may be the older one, but let the experienced girl teach the newer girl what's expected. And they are excellent at doing it. I know my daughter's in 2nd grade now, but even as a kindergartner, she was a pro salesman. And I know around our neighborhood, she basically has like a bunch of foster grandparents that wait for her every year to buy their cookies. As far as keeping it girl-led, push that on your parents too, because a lot of them, especially with the daisies, they're used to doing a lot for their kids, right? So especially if it's their only kid, they're going to want to be very hands-on. We need to encourage the parents that Girl Scouts builds independence. This is a girl-led program. Let them do it. They talk to the customers. They answer the questions. They handle the money. Even a daisy can count and make change. Something that you can run by your parents at your meeting is the example of someone buys 4 boxes of cookies. So they owe $16, but they hand you a $20 bill. Okay, they have to make change, right? 20 is bigger than 16. So you count up from what they owe to what they gave you. 17, 18, 19, 20, $4 of change. Your daisies will go through a lot of $1 bills, but they will be able to do it. Once they hit like brownie level and higher, they're better at skip counting, so you can add in those 5s and 10s. But if a girl makes a mistake, a lot of customers will make it a teachable moment. They will enjoy the interaction with the girls because half of them are coming to a booth for the girls as much as for the cookies. They will take the time to show them the mistake that they made and help correct it. But if you as the adult make incorrect change, they're just gonna be like, sweet, I got free cookies. So you'll have fewer accounting errors if you let the girls handle the money. Obviously, if you have younger girls like me, the parents will handle the card transactions, but let the girls handle the cash. Staying organized. So this might be my favorite part about cookie season. I love organization. I'm a little bit OCD. The online tools listed here are what I like to use, but there's a ton of them out there. Earlier, I know I mentioned Google Slides and PowerPoint for a document to share with your families. There's also, there are other things that are very similar to a slideshow that you can do with different apps. So if you're more comfortable with a different app, by all means, go that way. Communication, however your troop is set up to communicate, go with it. Group texts, group emails. We use an app called Band that's accessible on a cell phone and on a web browser. I like it a lot because we have like photo albums, we have color-coded calendars, there's group chats, and then there's like the wall post, which we have set that only leaders can make wall posts. So we use that for like announcements, polls, you can do attachments, you can do polls, you can do all kinds of stuff. And then on the calendar, like I can put in, like attach files or images to calendar events if there's something specific I need to make sure that they connect to that event. So it's pretty versatile, but if you're brand new to it, it can be a little challenging to figure out, which is part of the reason why I use Linktree. I discovered this on GSUSA's Instagram. There is a free version that basically just gives you something very basic and you get like words on the link. I do pay for the subscription so that I can do the pretty colors and the little icons. So there's a screenshot of my link tree on the top right of this slide. So like you can see the second one there is the 2020 Fall Product Program. That's a link to the Google Slides that are the FAQ for parents for fall product. So it just makes it quick and easy access. And I post this link just about everywhere. I put it almost every time I make an announcement. I include this link at the bottom just to make sure that the parents have easy access to it. So it has things like, you know, my top one is a link to a PDF. That is our troops drop off and pick up procedures for our upcoming outdoor field trip. There's stuff, you know, links to the council's COVID-19 protocols. There's links to where to put badges, just everything that the parents might need at their fingertips. And then one of them is even a link to a post in our band that has links to our Google Drive because we like to provide that. Speaking of Google Drive, the screenshot at the bottom again is a part of our Google Drive. That's the section on our cookies. Those documents there are things that I downloaded either from the council or GSUSA pages about cookies and put them all in one place to make them easily accessible, including some of the handouts that'll be included with the cookie materials, like the digital safety and stuff. They lose the paper, it's right there, they still have access. And there's a folder there for like virtual cookie booth stuff that has a bunch of clip art and things like that if they want to use it for social media posts. So that's, and for me, that's an easy way to organize digital documents or photos or anything like that. Your mileage may vary, do what works for you. While we're talking about Google, I mentioned earlier that I have a co-cookie manager. Cookie manager is a big job, especially when you get up to, you know, double-digit girls in a troop. So we work together and we use a shared Google Sheet to track the troop inventory. So sometimes multiple times a day, but at least a couple times each week, we each count what's in our house and we update the spreadsheet, you know, for each flavor. You know, we list like the date that it was last updated and we'll put in like how many unopened cases and how many loose boxes of cookies we have. And we'll try to update that after, you know, after a day full of booths or after, you know, a bunch of girls come pick up cookies from our house so that we can see our total and know if we need to order more from the warehouse. The one that I skipped over there is Sign Up Genius. I like Sign Up Genius. I'm sure there are other things that work just as well. Again, this was something I stole from, I don't know, a school teacher or the community cookie manager or somebody. Again, it's free. I like to use this for my cookie booth signups. That way I can release all of them at the same time for everyone, and you can list for each one date, time, location, and the different ones. So I mentioned that girl and adult versus girl only. You can put each one on the booths as needed. A lot of times we just have the two slots that say girl and adult because 2 girls for a 2-hour shift, we want them to get, you know, bang for their buck, right? We want them to feel like they're actually earning, you know, getting boxes credited to them for their work. And if you have 4 girls at a slot in front of, you know, a pet store or something, they're probably only going to get credit for like 10 boxes each. It's a lot of work for only 10 boxes. So yeah, we normally just do 2, unless we know it's a very high traffic area. Like in the past, Bass Pro is usually very good. We'll put a 3rd girl on those. So we'll have 2 girl and adult and 1 girl only. So again, use whatever works for you, but that's what we did this past season and it worked like a charm. Obviously, sharing resources is highly recommended. So if y'all have other suggestions for online tools, feel free to throw them in the chat, or we can talk about them at the end. So online resources are great, but you also have to keep track of all the paperwork, right? Every time you do, someone picks up cookies or turns in money, you have to fill out that receipt. Maybe you have hard copies of the girl permission slips or the etiquette agreements and you need a place to keep them, right? I have a couple. My preferred is a 3-ring binder, but again, you do what works for you if you like file folders or what have you. I'm gonna turn off my virtual background because my I discovered earlier that my props kind of disappear into the background. And I'm sorry, but y'all, I'm in my bathroom because I needed to get away from my loud pet birds. It is too cold to put them outside. Okay.
That's fantastic. Thanks for telling us.
You see the, okay. One option is something like this. It's a document sleeve. You can get them on Amazon, you can get them at dollar stores. Zipper closures or these little slider things. Some of them have the little 3-ring holes in them, so you can put them in a binder. Some of them are mesh, some are like PVC, whatever. These things are great. I use them to put like permission slips and stuff in when we go on field trips. This is my cookie binder for this year. I use sheet protectors, and I just put this one's for troop stuff, but then I have like this little sticky note tab with each girl's name on it. So in her sleeve will go her reward selections and all of her receipts when she picks up cookies or turns in money. So I have an easy place to keep all of it together. And then of course, hold on to it all for a couple of years in case there's any questions after the fact. But that's my binder. I think that's our last slide, isn't it, for me?
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much to Janelle for sharing all of this amazing wisdom. Like I said before, we're recording this, so if you want to come back as you're doing your planning, re-listen to what she has to say, really smart idea. And then in addition to that, she has also allowed us to share a PDF of the slides that she provides to her parents, more complete. So definitely we'll include that in our follow-up email that we'll be sending tomorrow. And then as always, if you have any really good ideas or anything like that, definitely share them with us so we can share them out to other troop leaders and to Janelle herself. And then also if you have any questions for Janelle, definitely drop them in the chat. We have a couple more slides to go through, and then we'll have probably about 10 minutes to do questions, talk with Janelle, share ideas, anything like that. But I want to say thank you so much again. You always blow me out of the water. Yeah, okay. So the last couple things we wanted to touch on today were the different cookie badges and pins that are available to girls, and also easy ways to add them to your troop meetings to get the most out of the Girl Scout cookie program experience. So we'll kind of talk about these 4 little places for resources and also pins in more detail. So let's get into it. So the first off is the Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas, our resource center, and then also our online resources. These are great for making troop planning very easy. Currently, the resource center is offering curbside pickup for select badge kits. The current pickup process and more information about that, and also more resources are available on the volunteer section of our website. So definitely give that a check out the resource center, see what badge kits they have available, and they might be adding more as we get into the season. So definitely check back there for really great ways to add badge work and other stuff like that to your troop meetings. The volunteer toolkit is also a really great tool for troops to use. It is an online platform to help co-leaders plan troop meetings. So a lot of the cookie badges are on VTK, or the volunteer toolkit. And those have a meeting overview, an activity plan, a material list, links to outside videos, a lot of really good stuff for making that badge work really easy on you. So definitely check those out if your girls haven't earned those badges yet, and try to implement them into some of your virtual meetings and other stuff like that. So the girls that so the girls can really get as much out of the cookie program as possible. Another not new thing, but new last year, is the Cookie Entrepreneur Family Pin. So these are activity sheets that girls have, their age level specific, and it's designed for them to take them home, do them with their parents alongside them, and then once they do the sheet, do all of the activities that it has, they will then get a pin that we do sell in our shop. And so girls can get a pen for each year, so they can, you know, do the pin every single year. And I believe Digital Cookie has that added into it, so girls can do some of the activities while they're also doing their Digital Cookie online storefront activities. But then new this year, GSUSA has released these cookie program family meeting guides. So these are designed for co-leaders, TCMs, to make planning that initial cookie meeting really easy. So we will include a link to all of these in our follow-up email, and we hope to also have them available on our website pretty soon. But it also has tips for taking it virtually. It has a lot of good info about girl safety, and a lot of external links out, so that if you need additional resources, they're there for you. So this is brand new this year, and we'll definitely include the links, because it is age specific, in our follow-up email. So definitely take a look at those. Okay, so this is the end of our webinar. We have plenty of time for questions. I'm gonna go check out the chat. If you wanna share some of the resources you use, or if you need any clarity, now is the time. Oh yes, okay, and then I didn't wanna offer it, but Janelle did offer her email. So if you do have questions or anything like that, she graciously provided her email address in the chat box, so you can go grab that, ask her any questions or anything like that. Okay, well, does anyone have anything to share?
Emma, that was a great class, and I love the staying organized part. I got some ideas out of that.
Yay.
And this year is going to be my first time being cookie mom for my troop, because my other mom has her child already graduated and moved on, so now it's me. So that, I think that's going to help, so thanks. And then I did have one question, and this is just, you know, I wasn't sure how everybody else was doing it, but I know you guys sent samples, like the cookies that we're supposed to give to the, you know, to each troop cookie person.
Mm-hmm.
If they have 2 people that are doing it in their troop, is it just 1 per troop, or how do y'all suggest we do that?
So just to clarify for everyone, that is a community cookie manager level question. So for that, I would just provide it to the first one, and if you have additional cookies, then you can give them the additional cookies. But if not, then it is kind of just like a nice thank you participation gift.
Okay.
Yeah, and they worship 1 per troop, but like Emma said, if you have some extras, then you can definitely share those with the co-TCM.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And then let's see. Okay, so there was one question that I see, and it says, if you just started as a troop, would you need to send in a finance report for June? So good question. For troops, for the finance report, if you don't have a bank account set up yet, new troop or not, you don't have to do that. If you don't have to do the June finance report or the December finance report. If you have a bank account and it is existing during any of the times of the finance report, then you have to do either of the finance reports. So you get that bank account set up in November, but you don't do anything in November, then you would still have to do that December finance report because it's over those dates. There's way more info about the finance reports and what is expected of you online on the volunteer resource page. So definitely check that out. And then if you need more clarifying questions as to whether or not your troop needs to do it or if it's correct, then definitely send those questions into customer care. Yes.
Thanks, Emma. There was another question from Molly regarding the credit card transactions, Square or approved platform. We really, 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 really encourage the troops to use the digital cookie platform for any kind of credit card transactions. You can use that as in hand to hand out the cookies, etc. So you can also use Square, but let me tell you a secret. The digital cookie credit card transactions are paid by council, digital cookie only. If you're using Square for your troop, the troop is responsible for those processing fees and absolutely may not pass on those extra fees to the customer. Okay, does that answer that for you, Molly? Okay, good. She said yes, thank you. Fantastic. And I think that was it. We got lots of love. Emma, I sent you lots of love in the chat, and I was just trying to keep people engaged. Lots of love for Janelle. Great job, Janelle. Thank you so much. And Emma, as always, fantastic.
Thanks. And I just saw oh, perfect. Oh, Janelle answered it. And for the December finance report, I understand we want to get it in early, but definitely from that December 1st to December 15th, remind your money managers that they should just get it done sooner rather than later. And so Janelle said that the finance period ends November 30th. So that means they have like 15 days to get everything together, get those receipts, and then turn it in. So I would say between the 1st and 15th, definitely get it in so that if there is anything missing, that you can have plenty of time to have us let you know and then send it back in. Yeah. Okay. Well, if you have any additional questions or anything like that, definitely email us at customer care. In our follow-up email tomorrow, we'll also have a link to a survey to let us know how we did during this webinar. So please take our survey. Let us know. Be honest. We have 3 other just-in-time webinars for the cookie program throughout the season. So we only want to make those better.
Absolutely. And then just let me add in as well. Most of you know mine and Emma's faces. So thank you. We appreciate you so much. But before we let you go, let us just introduce real quick our 2 seasonal department team members. We have Lauren Casillas. She is our full-time seasonal assistant. We're happy to have her. And then we have Nicole Garza. First day was yesterday as our part-time seasonal assistant to be there to support all of you and our girls and our department to get us through a very questionable cookie season. But I have no doubt we can all get through it together because we've got this.
Yes, we do.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. And the recording will be also included in the email. So definitely check that out. Have a good Wednesday.
Stay warm.
Thank you.